Still says starting. Okay, there we go. We are now live. Great evening, and depending on where you are in the morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us for the second Reverse Pink Slip Hangout. Tonight you're going to get a chance to meet some of the other authors of this amazing book project called Congratulations, You Just Lost Your Job. What? You lost your job and we're saying congratulations? What in the world is that about? Well, you know what? Keep hanging out with us and we're going to let you know. My name is Mia Zachary. I am a published author and a creative vision developer. I'll explain what that means later. But the first thing I want to do is introduce my amazing, incredible co-authors to you. First up is the lady behind the scenes, the head lady in charge, the mastermind, the amazing, incredible LaShawn Renique. Welcome.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
LaShawn, let everybody watching know who you are in the world and what you do.
Absolutely. Good evening, everybody. First, I want to say thank you again to my right hand, Mia Zachary, for hosting this Google Hangout and for all the amazing co-authors that's on. Dejish out there in Johannesburg, and Felicia and Mitzi and Arlene, who's back and forth. I just wanted to say thank you before I do anything else. My name is LaShawn Renique, and I am from Jamaica, Queens, New York. And so I'm a city girl. Yes, I am. Currently residing in the state of Delaware, and I am the founder of Awake the Champion in You Ministries, where we help those who are struggling to find their voice. We work with people that are trying to figure out what their purpose are. We also work with people who want to recreate and rebrand themselves. So that's essentially what I do outside of TMZ, outside of Head Ladies in Charge, and a plethora of other things. But right now, my prize, exciting project is Congratulations, You Just Lost Your Job.
Fantastic. We're so glad to have you here, and thank you again for inviting all of us to go on this journey with you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, I'm very excited to get to know this gentleman. Lucky you being the only man with all these beautiful women tonight. Dejesh from Nath, please introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do.
Okay, evening, morning to everyone.
We can't hear you.
Out there. Sorry, evening and morning to everyone out there. Okay, I'm Dejesh Ramnath. I'm from Johannesburg, South Africa. I think I'm probably the youngest on here. I'm 19. And what I do is I run this organization called Power of a Teen. And what we do is we actually help teenagers find their passion, find their purpose, and build self-development within them, so they can actually go out in the world outside of school and, you know, succeed and
it's okay.
Build a sustainable business from their passion.
That is fantastic. I wish you had been around when I was a teenager, but we're not going to tell how many years ago that was.
You only got me by 1 year. No.
So just for the other authors on the call, there is going to be a little bit of a delay when Dejesh speaks. Don't worry about it unless it goes on for more than a couple seconds. Mitzi, I'm coming over to you. Welcome, beautiful. So glad to have you with us tonight.
Thank you.
Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
My name is Mitzi Robinson. I'm from South Bronx, New York, and I own a company, From the Heart Clinical Consultants, LLC. And what we do is we consult adults with mental health, substance abuse, I should say, I don't want to say issues, but challenges. We do peer support. We do health promotion and illness prevention in the community. We do crisis intervention. We do grief loss consulting. And we also do individualized consulting.
Wow, wow. That's amazing. And I love the name of your company. That is really beautiful. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Felicia, stepping up your life meadows. Welcome, sweetheart.
Hello, 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 virtual world. Felicia Meadows, straight from Largo, Maryland. If you don't know where that is, that's about 7 minutes from the DMV. So not the Baltimore side, but the DC side. Just want everyone to know. I am the CEO and founder of Tomorrow's Future Coaching Consulting. And what I do is empower young people to find their passion and purpose so they can live the life of their dreams. I am dedicated to the youth. I love young people. That's my thing. That's what I do. If you can think back to being young, if no one ever asked you what you wanted to do, that they just said go get a job or go to school, but no one ever asked you what you love to do, I tap into that and help those young people figure out what it is they love to do, so they won't be something-year-old trying to figure out what they want to do with their lives. So yes, that's what I do.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. So, as I said before, my name is Mia Zachary. My company is Creativity Cubed, and what I do is I help people unleash their imagination, and I teach them how to tell their stories. So, basically, I am a creative writing coach. I'm a creative writing teacher. I'm a published author, and I also do presentations for people so that they can tell their story in a visual way. So I am really excited to be part of, the reason we're doing this hangout, which is congratulations, you just lost your job. So I'm going to go back to LaShawn now because I would love to find out. LaShawn, you're muted. There we go. I would love to find out what in the world inspired you to create and develop this project that you've invited us all to be part of.
Wow, that's a really great question. I actually my journey is called Employment TKO, and that is because I trusted in three separate jobs, just over brokes, and because of budget cuts or because of grants or whatever, falafel festival, whatever it was, they decided that my services were no longer needed. So I started speaking about this whenever I did motivational speaking engagements, and I would say, congratulations, you just lost your job, and explain the physical, emotional, and mental benefits you may endure by losing that job. And people said, wow, that's kind of catchy. And I said, you know what, I think it is too. I should put this in a book. So initially I was going to write the book by myself, but I said, no, this is going to be too big for me to do by myself. So I wanted to find some really inspiring, awesome, phenomenal motivators to join me, and thus here we are.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much. So I'm really very interested. Employment TKO. Which employment TKO'd you?
Wow. Well, I was working for I'm trying not to use their names so I won't break confidentiality, but I was working for a place that catered to people who were HIV positive, people who were either affected by HIV or their families were. And I was a counselor for them, and they're the ones who told me that my education did not match the grant. This is despite me having 12 years experience, despite me being credentialed and having a mound of certificates. As a matter of fact, certificates from the state. So that was knockout one. The second one, I was actually at a training that this establishment sent me to. I was a substance abuse clinician, lead counselor, and I worked with people who were detoxing from buprenorphine or methadone. They were addicted to some kind of opioid. Well, long and short, I'm at the training, learning more to enhance my skills. I get a phone call, and they said, well, because of budget cuts, we're not going to be able to keep you. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm at the training that your agency paid for. What do you mean you can't keep me? And that just like blew the wind out of me. But I wasn't upset. I felt that this was a weight lifted. I could do something that my purpose is calling me to do. And the last one was recently, December 6th. I was working for a company. It was a blue collar job, and I loved it. I think I loved the checks better because I was getting comma checks, and they were beautiful weekly, and I didn't mind going out there with boots and, uniform, because at the end of the day, I came back, and dogged myself up. Well, December 6th, my supervisor looked me in my face, and he was trying not to show emotion. And he said, I'm so sorry, but we have to let you go because of the season. But you can come back in January. And I said, that's it. I can't do this anymore. It was just absolutely it. So those were the three major events that gave me the title Employment TKO.
Wow, girl, you have been through it, but I'm
Yes.
so glad to know that you're now on the other side.
Yes.
So, Dejesh, with you, I guess my first question is, are you even old enough to have lost a job?
um, I'm gonna have to say I didn't really lose a job, but how it actually happened was, as a teenager, I always grew up in a society where it always said, if you don't have a good job, you're like nothing in this world. So when I finished high school, I actually thought to myself, well, I need a job and I need money. So the only thing that I had in my mind was money. And I know a lot of kids or teenagers, they always think money, money, money can buy me this, money can buy me that. And so I had that mentality where if I was working, I would earn a lot of money to basically buy whatever I wanted to. But when I got into a job, I started off at the bottom of a company because obviously I didn't have any degree to back up a good work position. So I started off at the bottom, and every month, all I did was just work to get this paycheck. And at some point in your life, when you wake up every morning and you think to yourself, well, I'm just going to work to get a paycheck, it doesn't satisfy you because you have these goals and these dreams, and I've always had these goals and dreams as a teenager. And in actual fact, a job just felt like a dream killer for me. So while I was at the job, I didn't work there very long. It was probably about 6 months. I worked, and all of a sudden I felt to myself, well, I'm not finding any I didn't find any enjoyment in it. I didn't find it satisfying. So I just decided all of a sudden just to leave and just go back to school.
That is
Wow.
fantastic. And, I think all of us being slightly more worldly, I'll put it that way, I'm not going to say older, but I think all of us, in a lot of ways, envy you that you came to this realization that, employment doesn't suit your personality, it doesn't suit the lifestyle that you want to lead at such a young age because, you're going to be on the path that we have spent years trying to get on. So good for you. Congratulations. Mitzi, I would love to find out from you. Did you walk out? Did they kick you out, or did you run?
All three. Well, I was working for, I'd say, a healthcare organization who promised me a promotion. As I came back and delivered my paperwork for a terminally ill practice or organization, I was pulled into an office, and instead of the promotion that I was excited to hear about, I thought they terminated me and said that basically I didn't turn in my paperwork on time. And I'm like, I'm sorry, did you say that you just terminated me? You gave us a week to fill out this paperwork. And it was, after excuses, excuses, all the excuses and everything, I just said to God be the glory. And it just wasn't for me. So I took another approach. I took a spiritual approach. And after a while, I got up and I basically shook their hand and I said, well, thank you. And as I was walking out the door, I felt so released. It
Hmm.
was a feeling of freedom. And it didn't bother me. And I walked out with integrity because at that point I knew that I did the best that I could do. And when I got to the elevator, I was just saying, "Thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord." And then as I was walking out at the building, I heard this still voice say, "You know what? I got something bigger for you in store." So I walked out. I was happy, and basically it's what led me to this point. So I am ecstatic that that experience happened to me because if it didn't, then maybe I wouldn't have been here today.
That's
So
Wow.
I'm so
fantastic.
happy.
Thank you. And I think, the rest of us have had that experience as well. I know on one particular job, when they told me I was fired, I felt like a 500-pound weight had come off my shoulders, and I walked out smiling just like you did. So I can understand that.
Yes.
Now, Felicia, I happen to know that you still are in your full-time position because I know that you actually are, unlike some of us, you actually love what you do.
Yes.
So tell us about your day job and then tell us about your dream job.
Okay, so going back a little bit, kind of piggybacking on what Mitzi said,
Mhm.
years ago, I had the same experience. I had a job, and it's funny because I liked the people that I worked for, but I didn't like what I did. So I was very comfortable. One of those people, like, I love going to work, didn't like what I was doing every day, but loved the people. I'm a people person, if you can't tell. So that was just me. So I loved it. And then one day, it was working for the government. So, it was a temporary job. They said, okay, we have to cancel your appointment. And what I realized was if I had continued to be comfortable, I would have stayed there. And when they gave me my paperwork, I was like, oh, thank you. I said, it was like, thank you, God, because I would have been here forever and ever, not liking what I did, but happy and content with what I was doing, which wasn't who I was. So fast forward to now, when I say love what I do, I'm a school counselor. I always tell people I'm an educator by trade, love young people, that's what I do. Love my job. However, in 2011, and it's interesting because people say, well, education, you always going to have a job. I'm a school counselor. That is a very specific degree. It's not, oh, you're a teacher, you can counsel. No, you have to get a degree in school counseling, and that's the only thing you can do. You can't do private counseling. I mean, you can take more classes, which I wasn't interested in. However, that wasn't my thing. I love being in an educational environment and what I love to do. So in 2011, there were cuts. They're always cutting school counselors, which is crazy because with all these things these babies have going on, the first people to go are us. So in 2011, we were on the chopping block, the school counselors, and that was like, wow, And then it's funny because I keep thinking, no, fear didn't set in, reality set in for me. And I said, if I had to be let go tomorrow, I'd be happy with that. However, what am I going to do? Because I can't just go somewhere, because we're on the chopping blocks. Jobs are scarce. People, like crabs in a barrel trying to fight for these positions. I won't have a job. So what do I do? So it got me thinking. And because I've always, entrepreneur, my famous saying, I've been an entrepreneur in spirit since I was a teenager, entrepreneur in action for the last year. So for me, I said, I have got to do something else to secure the future for me and my babies. I'm a single parent of 3. So what can I do outside of what I love to do that is going to be beneficial for me and these babies on a grander scale? So it was the, not fear, but the reality that I might not have a job that made me rethink entrepreneurship in 2011.
Wow. That does not make a whole lot of sense to me. I would have thought, with some of the things, I'm not going to go off on this tangent because we could do school politics forever, but with a lot of the things that are happening in our schools in America, and Dejesh, I don't know, if similar things happen where you are, I would have thought school councils would be vital. So I'm very surprised about that. Well, in my own case, the title of my journey in the Congratulations, You Just Lost Your Job book is I Can't Quit. And that has a double meaning. The first meaning is I hate being a quitter. I honestly do. I will put myself in situations where, I might be miserable and I hate it, but like I have to keep trying. I can't quit. So the first time I lost my job, I walked away from that one. I always thought, I love Law and Order, I loved LA Law, I love all these, these TV programs and these movies. It's like, oh, being a paralegal and working in a law firm, boy, that's going to be, sexy and exciting, and it's going to be just like TV. Well, not so much. So the first time I walked away was for the best possible reason. That reason is now 14 years old and almost as tall as I am. But the second time I lost my job, they kicked me out. Because again, it was a situation where, like, I already knew paralegal was not really for me. I'm good at the job, but it didn't make me happy, and I hated a lot of the things about working in a corporate environment. But I just couldn't quit, mainly because my husband had been fired. So when that happened, I was blessed to be a stay-at-home mom because he had been making, a really good income, and I was able to stay home with our baby. And then he came home and, they had shut down his office. So I got on the phone to a friend. I'm like, hey, you know what? I need a job. Do you know if any of the law firms are hiring? Oh, we are. Well, you know what? I have the baby. I only want to work part-time. That's fine. We're only looking for a part-time person. So I did that job for about a year. It was a multi-state, multi-vehicle, um, multi-fatality case that, I mean, we literally had rooms of file boxes. And then my father died in April of 2003. So I was out on, bereavement leave for a week. And when I came back from that, I went to my desk, I started doing some work, and at the end of the day, I got that, could you come down and see us call? And at that point, I got my pink slip. And they were firing me. I mean, letting me go, whatever, however you want to say that, they were showing me the door. But here's the thing about that. I can't be upset for two reasons. Number one, there was never a job. They made that job up for me in a time when I needed one. So I can't be upset with them letting me go because they did keep me and pay me for a year. So I will always be grateful to them for that. But the second reason, of course, is that, when I told my husband, it's like, hey, honey, guess what? By this time he'd found another job with better pay, and he's like, you know what? You've wanted to try to write novels. You wanted to be a professional writer. Now's your chance. Let's go do it. So, I'm very happy to say I've published 10 books to date. Because the thing that I can't quit is always wanting to try something new, always wanting to be in control of my schedule, wanting to control my destiny, wanting to, most importantly, design my life instead of just making a living. So that's why the title of my chapter in Congratulations, You Just Lost Your Job is I Can't Quit. So Dijesh, I'm coming over to you. I would love to know the title of your journey chapter and why you chose entrepreneurship versus, trying to get another job.
Thanks, Mia. Okay. Just to explain that, why I chose entrepreneurship as an art form, like you said, we can control our destiny as such. So I think just like an artist, you can always, for a painter, for example, he's in control of the brush and the colors that you use. So an entrepreneur is also in control of his or her future. What they're willing to do, how do they take their passion to the next level. And why I chose entrepreneurship was I was in love with entertainment and dancing and the arts. So I always thought to myself, well, I am an artist, so an entrepreneur art form. And what I first figured out before I actually started up one of my first businesses was that I had to always, sorry, what I'm trying to get, visual, we are the biggest business in our life because we always have to build ourselves, we always have to build. So I think entrepreneurship always starts off within yourself first before you can actually start up a business. So always content with the fact that ending on myself. I started my foundation, and that point where you're an individual, you're like a skyscraper, you're standing amongst everyone else, and you have that ability to help other people. So entrepreneurship for me has always been a way to express my way of helping others, to express my ideas, and making those ideas into something sustainable for the future. And basically now, as an entrepreneur, it's my duty also to teach how to also do that. Take your passion to the next level, but work on yourself first as a business.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic. What you say is so true. And again, I just have to give you credit. I just have to acknowledge, how just sharp you are. You know, there are so many teenagers out here who are just lost and clueless, and I give you so much credit, Dejesh, for knowing that this is a way to grow yourself and help other people grow. I love that you said that, you know, as an artist, entrepreneurship really is the only route. So, you know, thank you so much for that insight. Thank you. Mitzi, I'm coming over to you. I would love to find out the title of your journey chapter, and again, why you feel that entrepreneurship was the right path for you.
My chapter is I Won't Give Up. Okay.
I
As
love
a
it.
child, thank you. As a child, growing up in the projects and people labeling us, it's 8 of us, I'm the youngest of 8 siblings. They labeled us as, oh, they're never going to be anything. Oh, they're just going to be on drugs. Well, I'm here to say all 8 of us are successful. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Mom. Um, as a child growing up, I knew I wanted to be a nurse. And I was fortunate to know that because I was about 10 and I told my mother, I said, Mom, you know what? I want to be a nurse. I love caring for people. I love helping people. I love listening to people and also providing feedback, encouragement, and help any way I can. And I was always like that. I was always blessed to be a person that could help others and they received the help. And I always like to see growth in people. So when I was actually 13, I started singing. I had this huge career. I had an album coming out. We picked out the album. We did a lot of pictures. I did a lot of interviews, and I was supposed to be with Def Jam Records, opening up for the OJs.
Oh, wow.
Those who are a little bit older know about the OJs. I'm not telling my age. But I had to make a decision at when I was in 11th grade, and I had to go on tour. And I wanted to walk with my fellow classmates. And on tour, I would have a tutor. And I was always a person that knew what I wanted, which is caring for people, being a nurse. I knew I wanted to be a nurse. So I made a big decision, and I chose to go to Delaware State College. It was college back then, university, as a nursing major. And then from then, I went on to get my master's, and I became a clinical nurse specialist in the community. Um, I worked for the community, but I didn't get that fulfillment when I'm being in the community. And that's very special to me to be in a community, show people that I care, give advice, loving advice. That's what I wanted to do. So I said the only way that I'm going to be able to do that was to be my own boss. And that's what I did. I basically went into positions that I knew could help me get to my point and my goal. And basically, I have 2 wonderful sons who are now teenagers. They're about to be grown, 18. They are my inspiration. And I'm a single parent. I was divorced. Well, I was married for 9 years and divorced, and I needed something to stabilize my career. So I wanted to get into a practice that I can help people, and that's how From the Heart came about. And I love it. I love helping people. I just didn't want to work for the community. I wanted to be in the community to help others. So that is why From the Heart is so dear to my heart because it allows me to make my own schedule, to be involved in the community more, and basically be home and not home, basically with my adult kids. So it basically, I'm not restricted, is what I'm saying. And I love that because I can set my own goals and go my own way, do whatever I need to do to make sure that my dream is accomplished and make sure it's a success.
That is fantastic. And I think, you know, that's pretty much number one with me as well. Just being able to have that control and not having to answer to, you know, anybody
Right.
else. So that's a great point. Felicia, what is the title of your journey chapter? And, you know, you have a different perspective because you are working a full-time job as well as building your business. So how do you find balance between the two?
So my chapter is my entrepreneurial journey to my passion and purpose. And when I joked earlier, I said I've been an entrepreneur in spirit since I was a teenager. I mean, literally, at 13, I was going around the neighborhood collecting aluminum cans at 13 to figure out how I could make that money and take it to the place where they would weigh them. And, and it's funny because at 13, like I'm getting, I mean, trash bags full of cans, and then you go to the place and they give you $6, and you're like, I did all this work and this is what I get. But that has been my thing. I mean, it's been from the trash can, aluminum cans to the Coke bottles. I don't know. Well, I know the West isn't old enough to understand this, but back in the day, you could turn Coke bottles in for coin too. So I was collecting bottles and cans, and then it went to babysitting. I need to do the babysitting thing, but now I need to sell Avon. It's always been. I've always been on that grind because I've had that entrepreneurial spirit always. Like, how can I just do me? I just need to do me. Whatever I can figure out, I want to do me. So. And I always joke too. I said I'm such a nonconformist. I just can't. I'm so far beyond the status quo. It's not, I can't fit in this one mold of this, this cubicle thing. I've just always been one to do me. So, as I look back, and to me, it was beautiful. This journey has been, this experience with the book has been beautiful, because it was like a revelation. Like, wow, I've been doing this thing forever, and nothing that I've really done has panned out. You're like, this doesn't really work. Well, let me try this. This doesn't work. And like I said, I'm so many years old, so I've been doing this for a very long time. And it wasn't until I realized what my passion and purpose was that this thing has come full circle in the last few months. When I created Tomorrow's Future, and I used Tomorrow's Future because our babies are the future of tomorrow. They're our future. And I don't want them to struggle and have no adult in their lives that says, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? Be happy in whoever you want to be, whatever that is. I don't care if you're a street sweeper, if that's what you want to do, sweep those streets, baby. Just do your thing, whatever you want to do. But if you don't have anyone to tap into your passion and purpose and help you work through that thing, you will be the adult that is trying to figure out what you want to do. So for me, once I realized youth are my passion, I was the teenager in the neighborhood that always had all the little babies around them. I was like, not babies, but, oh, come on, let's take the babies to the park, let's do this, let's play with the kid, that kind of thing. So I've always loved kids. That's just been who I was since I was younger. I didn't get into the counseling piece, psychology thing, until I was in high school. And it's crazy because, which is really weird, I've been analyzing folks since I was young. So, and I didn't realize what that was. So, I just kind of meshed the two together. I see people like, yeah, that's what's going on with you. And boom, 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 this was happening. So I could, been able to see that since I was young. So I took a psych course in high school, and I fell in love with psychology. And I said, my love for babies and just seeing how so many babies are affected by what adults have going on. Adults affect whatever we have as grown folk, whatever we have going on affects those babies. Mm-hmm. So I put the two together, and I said, well, what arena can I go into where I can reach the most babies? And, I joke because my mom, I grew up around educators. My mom was an educator. I grew up around educators, and I kept saying, oh, my gosh, I would never work in education. That's crazy. And now I can't think of doing anything else. So that's kind of how I got where I am, And Tomorrow's Future came about because I said I see the need on a grander scale for these babies who just don't have any direction. And then no one is sitting down and asking them, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? What do you love to do? I spent years in a job that I could not stand, where I had more education than most of my supervisors, but I was made to feel like I was the idiot like you because you're the secretary. You have to do A, B, C, and D. And I'm like, I'm by far not dumb. So, but if you made to feel that way, and no one ever taps into what you have in here, you will continue to do that. And I don't want these babies to go out into the world feeling like that. So that's where Tomorrow's Future came into play. And all the other entrepreneurial ventures that never panned out, because there are quite a few in my chapter. There are quite a few. This is the only thing that once I realized this is what I'm born to do, once I had clarity and knew this is what I was supposed to do, the divine connections have opened up, and it's been a beautiful journey for the past few months. So yes, my chapter is my entrepreneurial journey to my passion and purpose. My passion being young people, my purpose is to serve. So that's where I came up with my title.
I love that. I
Me
love that.
too.
That's fantastic. In my case, I have always been so much happier living inside my own head because there's a party going on in here. I mean, I don't just march to my own drummer. I have my own band,
Mhm.
you know, and it's always been like that. But when you think up here and you think 27 things all at the same time, people don't know how to handle you. They don't know how to deal with you. So, over the time, because I didn't have a counselor saying, you know, not, how can we take your creativity and make it something that you can turn into an income? How can we take your personality and who you really are and monetize that? I just kind of made myself smaller and smaller and smaller until I fit into an idea of what other people wanted. But I think for me, the biggest reason for entrepreneurship really comes down to the freedom to be creative, the freedom to think off the wall, the freedom to not only think outside the box, but to know and believe in my heart that there never was a box to begin with. And the biggest thing for me is also time. I am not a morning person, so do not ever ask me to be somewhere at 7 a.m. unless I have stayed up all night and I'm still up at 7 a.m. You're not going to see me. That's just not going to happen. And the other thing is, I am also really a people person. One of the things that I used to get in trouble for at the law firm is, the people who needed to know knew that if you needed a shoulder to cry on, if you needed somebody to listen to you, if you needed somebody to vent to, if you needed somebody to give you a hug, if you needed somebody to hold your hand, that I was always going to be there for you no matter what else I was doing. And it got to be such a problem that HR actually started telling people not to set foot in my office because they were interfering. Seriously, seriously, my friend was told, do not go talk to her during business hours because
Wow.
you're interfering with her billable time. See, in a law firm, you have to account for every 6 minutes of your day. Every 6 minutes has to be billed to a client so that there's always money coming in. And dollars were more important than people, and that's just not who I am in my heart. People are always going to be more important to me, and that's the thing I love about entrepreneurship is this has been such a blessing in that I am allowed and afforded to take all the time I need to build a relationship with someone so that I'm not selling them anything. I am giving them a valuable service. They are getting value from me, and I get value from being able to give to them. So that's really important to me. One of the things that Felicia said that I would love to go through, we didn't plan this, but now that she brought it up, I feel like my passion is definitely in communication, in spoken word, in visual representation. Um, I feel like my passion is always going to be around writing and communicating and being around other people. And then I feel like my purpose is to help other people find their voice. I truly believe with all my heart that everyone has a story and those stories matter. And the more we share those stories, the more we're going to find commonality. And if we find commonality, then we're not going to be strangers. And if we're not strangers, we're going to be kinder to each other. And if we're kinder to each other, we're not going to be aggressors. We're not going to be competitors. And I honestly believe that stories can heal the world. Once we share our stories and we see, oh, wait a minute, Dejesh and I have this in common, and Felicia and I have that in common, and LaShawn and I both did, Mary Kay, and Mitzi and I have this other thing in common. We're going to find that we're all actually connected, and there's truly no difference between all of us, and it's going to be a better world for everybody. So does that sound arrogant? That I believe my purpose is to help change the world? Maybe so, but I don't care. That's why God put me here. So, Dijesh, I'm coming over to you. What do you believe your purpose and passion to be?
And passion has always been help. So I don't really have help someone. It's one of the biggest things and one of the most generous, and it gives you a very good feeling to just be able to help someone and see them smile, see them grow, or just see them feel that you actually taking time you're taking your time, and you're putting it into them to see them grow. So I just think that's basically what I've been called to do, and it's just basically to help. But if you want to take it to a more specific point, I'll say it's more towards the teenagers, because I've made a success as it that I'm always a student. No matter when I'm 45, 50 years old later on in the future, I'm always a student. So I can always learn that knowledge. I'll never be a teacher. I'll just be someone that's further along the path, that's willing. That's able to teach it to someone that's for example, the younger generation, and I'll still learn and grow as I get older. So that's basically it.
That is fantastic, and again, I commend you for finding your way at such a early age. Although I don't know about you ladies, I'm a little insulted that this guy thinks that 45 and 50 is old.
Me too. Wow, I've seen him in person.
No, you guys are still young. You guys are still young.
Mitzi, thank you. We look young, right? Mitzi, please share I think you've already done this, but recap for everybody again, please, what your passion is and what you feel your purpose is.
My purpose is to simply help others. That's it. I don't care what age range. I don't care who you are. If you could benefit from the help I can give and you receive it, I'm here to give it. That's it. And my passion and purpose are basically the same thing. I want to help people basically reach their goal. And I think I forgot who said it, but it started out as a child basically because as a child, we tend to mimic what our parents do, and it starts off with a lot of behaviors that our parents display, or someone else in the family. It could be an uncle, aunt, but they need direction. A lot of people need direction, and I'm here to give it. That's why I do recovery consultation because I allow them to pick out their needs and then just help navigate through the system so that they can reach their goal and I can feel that I've helped them do it. I take great pleasure in knowing that I helped someone. So,
That's fantastic.
mhm,
And your spirit just comes through in everything that you say. There's so many times you meet people and they're like, "Oh yeah, I just like to help people," and you're like, "Yeah, whatever. It's just words." But
Mhm.
I sense such a great sincerity when you speak that I believe that that really is your purpose.
me too.
LaShawn, you
Yes.
you are such a passionate person, and I love your energy. I love your smile and your giving, and I just love spending time and being around you. What would you say that your passion is, and what would you say is your main purpose? Because I know you've got a lot of purposes.
Ah, I'll just say I'm very, very blessed, and I'm just so fortunate for the blessings God has given me. My purpose is to be the motivator's motivator. So many times, all of us are automatic nurturers, automatic motivators, coaches, cheerleaders, teachers, doctors, but who is there to motivate them? Who is there to get them excited and energized and refreshed and letting them know that they too can do what it is that they're telling other people to do. That's my job. My purpose is to become the motivator's motivator. And I think that I've been doing that thus far. As far as my passion is acting. I love acting. And I think that um, I, I mean, when I was 7 years old, I was offered an Underoos commercial. I don't know if y'all remember Underoos, but
Oh, don't tell it, Sean. Let's try to guess the age.
it was so funny. But I mean, I love TV. I love, and it's not so much because I love being on TV. I just love the connectivity with that. So, purpose, motivating the motivator, my passion, public speaking, acting, and then most of all, being an example for my kids. Because as you can see, my daughter, who's 7 years old, wants to have her own Google Hangout. And yeah, it's just been a true, true blessing that I have become the dream I've been having since I was a kid, just by following my path and allowing pain and lessons mold my purpose to become better.
Well, I think you're already fantastic, so I can't wait to see how much better you get.
Thank
You
you.
really are an incredible speaker, and I'm not going to give the whole story now, but ask LaShawn why she's my 3 a.m. gang member at some point if you ever get to meet her in person.
Yes.
So I was on Facebook earlier today, and a mutual friend of some of ours had posted a really great question. And I've only had, a little bit of time to think about this, but I thought it would be a great question for us tonight. When we talk about our products and our services, I'm reading off my phone here, are the products and services you offer an extension of your beliefs or an extension of your desires? And I thought that was a really interesting question to ask. So, like I said, I haven't had a lot of time to think about this, but I would say, honestly, a little bit of both. I'm not going to lie. Money is a tool. The lights have to stay on, the internet has to stay on, so, you're going to have to make money. A lot of people misquote the Bible and say money is the root of all evil. That's not true. The actual quote is, the love of money is the root of all evil. God never said you can't make a wage, to get through and pay your way through life. So I believe that, the products and services that I offer, they are motivated by a desire to have a certain kind of life, to design a life that I love living, where I wake up in the morning and I'm excited about who I'm going to meet and what I'm going to be doing. There is a desire to be financially independent at some point. I'm not going to lie about that. So the products and services that I offer are designed to do that. But I also truly feel that the services I offer are based on my belief. Like I said before, my belief is that everyone has a story, and those stories matter, and I think it's important to share those. So in that way, I do think that, my answer to the person who posted this is both. So, Dejesh, what about you? First of all, what services do you offer, or do you have products?
Okay, the Power of a Teen organization, at the moment, it's still fairly new. It's just about 6 months, 6 to 7 months that I've started it up. So at the moment, we basically give a lot of motivational talks. We've got our book out, Power of a Teen. Our second book is also published as well. And as well as we've just starting these money management services to the youth and to the teens. But in terms of that question just asked, um, the desire, our desire to a certain point, we have to fulfill that. And like you said, that we do need to put on our lights. I mean, and lights still need to be paid, internet needs to be paid, and we still need to survive on a month-to-month basis. So, to a certain extent, what we desire, it has to be fulfilled. And so whatever products or services that you offer within your business or organization, whatever the case may be, it's good to put a price on it, because you do know that it's gaining you it's gaining you some money. But at the same time, when you have belief in that, when that's what you believe in. So, for example, as a speaker, like going out to schools, I believe so much in helping the youth. So when you really believe in that, it just makes a greater impact in terms of, how can you say, in terms of that, getting it across to the next person. So if you're trying to sell, for example, belief in, you're never going to sell it to the next person. But if you rate it to that person, okay. So yeah.
Great, thank you so much. And I love the fact that, you obviously, I love the fact that you're an author already. In addition to congratulations, you just lost your job. The name of Dejesh's book is Power of a Teen. Dejesh, where can people find that book?
Okay, that's available on Amazon.com. At the moment, I'm busy getting it published. through a South African company, so that will be physical copy soon. But at the moment, Amazon.com, you can find that on there.
Great. Thank you so much. So, Mitzi, your services, are they an extension of your desires or of your beliefs or of both?
Both, both. It is my belief to help others. Simple. As a desire, basically, my desire is to help people and basically do the best I can to do so. So, like you said, if you have that desire, you need income. Yes, we all have that. I would say both, but my whole desire is to help people. It's mine is simple, and it's both. It's just both.
Great. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
it's simple.
Felicia, beliefs versus desires. Where do you stand on that question?
I think I concur with everyone else. It's a combination
Right.
because, in my chapter, I talk about all these things that I tried to do that were based on desire, and it was desire of money, and it wasn't what I really believed in, and it didn't pan out. It didn't work out because it was not. I didn't internalize it. It was I need to make this money because as a single parent of three, and tell people I'm an educator, so we don't make money. So it's like we gotta live. We gotta live. How we gonna live? So initially it was desire. It was like I want to have wealth, 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 and be in education. You're not going to be wealthy. You're just not. So when those things didn't pan out, what I realized is when I had put my belief system into place, everything else fell into place. So what I desired is coming from that, and I have to leave a legacy for my babies. I can't, with your kids, you want to leave a legacy, and it's not saying, "Oh, mommy made this much money." It's when I'm gone. What did your mommy do for the world? What did she help people do? What is she known for doing? So it's much bigger. Money's wonderful. Oh, it's fancy, especially if you don't have it. You know how great it is when you get it. But but I mean it is. So, but I mean, of course, we all need to live because we need to eat. But at the end of the day, you want to leave with something that you have that you can own and that you truly believe in. And when you leave this world, that you say, "This is what I did. Job well done. This is what I did." So it's a combination of both.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, LaShawn,
Yes, ma'am.
your hashtag is quit 40 40 40. I would love for you to explain to the viewers what that means.
Yes, quit the 40-40-40 club essentially encapsulates what everyone just spoke about your belief system. It speaks about your purpose, your passion, your desires, and what have you. And when you quit the 40-40-40 club, it's basically saying, I am no longer working 40 hours a week for 40 years to only receive 40% of my pay. So imagine you're working 40 hours a week. You're tired by the end of the week. You're frustrated by the end of the week. You miss your kids' recitals. You miss their first steps, their teeth coming out. You miss doctor's appointments, wellness appointments, bar mitzvahs, whatever it is. You missed it because you were at work for those 40 hours. And sometimes those hours carried over into the weekend. Now, you're doing that for 40 years. So the child that you just gave birth to yesterday, you look up again tomorrow and they're already registering for college. You missed a whole lifespan because of those hours you invested making someone else's dream come true. Now, like Felicia was talking about, certain careers, even if you make 17 digits, you get this kind of lifestyle where you're still doing what everybody else is doing, and that's just scraping to survive. And if you weren't doing it with 100% of your pay, my question is, how can you do it with 40% of your pay? Like, let's do the math. You're taking more than half of what you would have been making weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, or whatever, and you're only making 40% of that. How fair is that? So when you put a belief system where you realize that, okay, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, and I'm not doing it to get rich. I'm doing it because I want to have a purpose behind what it is that I'm doing and put a name and a voice and action to it, it doesn't seem like work. And then now you have remunerative income where you have generational wealth for your children, your children's children, your children's children's children, and they don't have to be in that 40-40-40 club.
That is fantastic, and I love that idea of the continuing theme of leaving a legacy. I don't know what legacy I'm going to be able to leave my son, but I hope, if nothing else, I'm setting an example that he does have other options. He does have other options. So, Felicia, your hashtag is hashtag be a conscious rebel. What does that mean, a conscious rebel?
Wow, I love it.
Right. If you haven't noticed, I'm a nonconformist. I don't conform. I have
really? We didn't notice.
No.
I have a hard time.
Not you.
No, not I. Don't tell anybody.
Wow.
So, I'm one of those people. I've always gone against the grain, but I do it with integrity. So I'm not going to do anything that's going against the grain that's going to, hurt anybody else, to be harm. Whatever I'm doing, if I'm going against the grain, it's for the benefit of others. But because you have to be very conscious about what you're doing, because if everyone's going left, I'm going right. Well, what's going on over here? Because everyone's going here. What's going on over here? And what can I do over here that's going to benefit the people over there? So when I say be a conscious rebel, go against the grain. Beware the status quo. Don't follow, going back to what Mia said, dance to the beat of your own drum. That's always been me since I was young. Everyone else is doing this. Nope, y'all, I'm doing this. And then everyone's like, oh, well, what is Felicia doing? And they're over here with me trying to figure out what I'm doing. But whatever I'm doing with integrity. It's nothing that's going to be harmful. It's nothing that's going to get you, in trouble. It's something for the betterment of other people. Because you have to go against what everyone else is doing to see what's out there that's better for the greater good. So I encourage everyone to be a conscious rebel. Be a rebel, but be conscious of what you do.
Wow, that is fantastic. I love that. I love that. Thank you.
It's high. It's so high. And may I say this real quick, Mia? I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I know that, I'll speak for myself. I'm not going to assume with anyone else. I also, Felicia, I've done everything from Amway to Zamzoo. Everything. I'm serious. And, some things were cool. Some things I failed miserably, like so much that I wanted to do the ostrich, or like duck my head under the sand. And what I learned was when you operate with not only with integrity but with the thought pattern of, look, I'm not going to do what you say or what you suggest. I'm going to do what feels right. It just makes a whole new difference in the world. So I'm a rebel too.
That's right. We're all conscious rebels, y'all. Come on.
I think we are. I really think we are.
Rebels, yes.
And it's like sometimes you have to rebel against the people who are closest to you.
Yes.
I know that, both of my parents are gone, so it's just me and my two brothers, and they love me, they support me to a certain extent, but they don't understand me. They really don't. And it's like every time they're like, well, why don't you brush up your resume and you could go work for this law firm and you can go do this. It's like, I could shoot my wrist open too, but I'm not going to do that. My honest belief, and here's where I'm coming from with the entrepreneurship, and we were talking about LaShawn's done everything from Amway to Zamzoo, and Felicia was talking about all the different jobs that she's had. Mitzi, I'm sure that you've done a bunch of stuff, and people roll their eyes at me. It's like, really? You've got another project? You're going to try this now? Seriously? Yes, I'm going to try it all. Because as I like to say, now this is not my statement, and I honestly forget, otherwise I would give credit, but I want to die empty. I want to die with nothing left inside of me, because I have tried. And when I've fallen down, I got back up and tried again. And when I stumbled, I went around it and tried again. I think it's so important, and you're right, we all do need to be rebels, because, I am not built to work in a windowless cubicle punching a time clock. I'm just not. And if that's what being a rebel needs to be, then rebellion, here we go. Let's cause a revolution.
For real. I have too many
Yes.
tabs open in my brain to work for somebody right now.
Exactly, exactly. So, Mitzi, I'm going to come back over to you. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, I was going over to Dijesh. Dijesh, your hashtag is achievement is limitless. I love that mindset.
Wow.
Achievement is limitless. Explain how you came up with that slogan.
Okay. Basically, so when I think about my journey as an entrepreneur, I think it's just begun. It's just begun, and at this point, I've started to see so much achievement, whether it be small or big. But I think it's just begun for me. And when I look at, we constantly living in this age, there's a lot of internet. We're having more millionaires online, and Facebook. The founders of Facebook were actually the youngest billionaires in the world when you think of it. So when you think about achievement as being limitless, and I'll go back to what you said, Mia. You wanna die empty. I rather try and give it my all, and know that at the end of the day I did my best, rather than just sitting down and just saying, well, I could try that, but it may not work out. But if I have an idea, I'd rather just push it and see how far can it really go. Whether it fails or not, I still know that I achieved, in that I tried. And if it succeeds, there's no limit to how much more it can succeed. So when I started off as an entrepreneur, I think this is a very good story. I started off when our school had this annual entrepreneurship day. So I had this idea
Oh,
that a lot of
cool.
the teachers said, it was never going to work. It was never going to work. So I took it, said to me, well, how did you actually come up with this? And I said to them, I just stuck to this belief in this idea, and I just wanted it, to succeed. So I achieved, in terms of that idea at that age. And then in high school, I was given another opportunity to actually do, like, for another entrepreneurship day, to actually implement another idea, and that became a success.
Awesome.
That's all.
So at a young age, I've always been fascinated by ideas to the next level. So, like I said, I started off with a small business, and when I went for me, I never thought I was going to write a book. The teachers always said to me, your English is not good enough, or your writing style is not good enough. And for me to actually accomplish a book, that was like, wow, like, I'm an author finally, you know. So what I think, like, achievement, it's limitless. There's no limit to what you can achieve. No matter what your circumstance, no matter what your age, you can always achieve.
That's right.
That's right.
That is fantastic. Thank you. You have such a great attitude, and you are such an impressive young man. I am so excited to see how much you're going to achieve, throughout the rest of your life. So excited. Missy, I'm coming over to you
Thank you so much.
because oop, I lost Mitzi. What happened here? Hold on.
I'm here.
There we go. There she is. Okay, Mitzi, your hashtag is put God first. What does that mean to you, and how have you been able to apply it to your business?
My business is a ministry. I call it that because I'm helping people. That was my goal as a 10-year-old child, as me wanting to be an entrepreneur. I've achieved it, and I feel that it's only right to give God all the credit for all the strength, all the wisdom, all the love, all the support that brought me to this point. And so it is a ministry for me to give back everything that He's instilled in me. I'm going to give it back to my community because this is what they need. So that's why I'm here, not only to, okay, I have this, I'm not here for that. I'm here to help people achieve and always let them know to put God first. Even some people are fickle about their belief. I'll just follow where they want me to go, and I'll take it from there, and hopefully I can be that person to help them through whatever they need to get through. to be successful.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. My personal hashtag is welcome to someday. There are 7 days in the week, and someday is not one of them. People talk about the things that they want to do. Oh, I'd love to start a business someday. I'd love to write a book someday. And it's always someday, and there's always 27 million excuses for why they haven't even started, yet alone finished. Like I said, mentioned before, both of my parents are gone, and with Dad, it was a little less expected, but we lost Mom in a week.
Wow.
And the lesson that taught me is that tomorrow is not promised to any of us. Felicia talks about tomorrow's future, and I'm not trying to take away from that. Please believe me, I'm not trying to take away from that. But we, especially as entrepreneurs, we are naturally creative people. And, I don't know about you guys, but I literally, if you could see my office right now, there's a file cabinet full of ideas that I just don't have time to pursue. So, but I think of it as a garden. I can't grow, from seedling to sequoia, everything. But I can give a little bit of water and a little bit of fertilization to everything and see what's going to grow. Because I'd rather do a little bit on a lot of things than know that, I had an idea for something that might help somebody else and I never pursued it. So that's why my personal hashtag is welcome to someday. I don't care how tiny the step is. I don't care how small it looks to you. I want you to take it anyway. If you're watching out there and you've ever thought that you want to be an entrepreneur, that you want to start a business, that you want to offer services, that you want to design a product, just take the tiniest little step, because even tiny little steps are still going to move you forward to something. Welcome to someday. What are you going to do right now that your future self, your tomorrow's future self, is going to thank you for after you have quit the 40-40-40 and put God first, and you have realized that achievement is limitless.
That's right.
Right.
She mixed that up like
I like that. Exactly. A little concoction going on.
Now, Sean, I'm going to come back to you because, I don't know who's out there watching. I'm so grateful for whoever you are for hanging out with us today. And one thing that, we've said the title, congratulations, you just lost your job, but I also want you to know that there's a website that you can go to, and it is the first letter of each word in the title. So it's www.cyjlyj.com. That's www.cyjlyj.com. So think of it as www, congratulations, you just lost your job, but it's just the first initials. And LaShawn, I know that you have a special offer for anybody who does go to that website. What is it?
Absolutely. So if you go to the website, number one, I invite you to peruse through the website and read about the different bios of each of the authors and a little bit about a snapshot, a little bit about the book so you can get engaged and salted and really notice what it is that we're doing. And then on top of that, we have a special offer. So in the event that you have a friend that you want to share this book with, or if you're like me and you just want to have an extra one in the event that you misplaced it or read it so much the pages are ripping off, that if you buy one, you get one free. And this is going to run until June, because we want to make sure you have the opportunity to get this book, to have it on your Nook, your Kindle, your iPad, iPod, tablet, whatever, the pigeon with the little electronic socket on the side, wherever you have that you read your books from, we want you to have it. And again, this is up until June, and then after June we have an early bird special, and then after that it goes full price.
Thank you so much. So once again, that website is www.cyjlyj.com, which is for congratulations, you just lost your job. There might be people out there watching us right now, or if you're not watching us right now, you might end up watching us on the replay. We hope that you will. There might be people out there right now who are watching and they're thinking to themselves, I just lost my job and I don't know what I'm going to do right now. Or there's other people that are like, I wish I could lose my job. This sucker needs to go. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to come back through each of the authors, and I'd like it to ask you if you would please share some piece of advice for somebody out there who either, is a new entrepreneur, wants to be an entrepreneur, is thinking about being an entrepreneur, or we hope will join us someday as an entrepreneur. So, Dejesh, I'm going to come to you first, and just ask you whether it's a teen or somebody older who might be inspired by what you're about to say. What is the best advice you can give somebody who wants to lose their job?
Okay.
wait.
Okay.
Let people know that job means just over broke. Don't have this. People gonna look at him like outlaw. I love this group.
So if JOB means you are just over broke, in other words, you are not getting paid what you're worth,
Yes.
what would your advice be, Dejesh, to anybody who is looking at entrepreneurship as a possible path for the rest of their lives?
Okay. I'm just gonna try and keep it. Whoever you are out there, you need to understand that you as an individual, you have power within you. So whatever you think you are worth, you have to believe that within yourself first. So if that job is not satisfying you, or whatever you're doing, if it doesn't satisfy you, are powerful enough to find your passion, your purpose, and you're powerful enough to be able to take yourself to the next level. So if you an upcoming entrepreneur, whatever you have, if you have a vision, if you're based on vision, it's important to constantly fuel that vision, but it's important to constantly work on yourself. But understand that everything starts within you as an individual. You have to understand and you have to believe within yourself first.
I love that. I absolutely love that. So many times when we lose a job, if we're fired or we're laid off or whatever happens, maybe you're out of work for a health reason, we really do feel powerless. And I love the fact that, Dejesh, you're reminding people that they do have the power to, as I love to say, design their life instead of just making a living. Thank you so much for that. Mitzi, I'm coming over to you. If there are people who are out there watching and they are interested in being an entrepreneur, or they just need some comfort because they have lost their job, what would you say to them?
I would say don't give up. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your vision. Don't give up. If you're determined to do your heart's desire, then go for it. My 3Ds to achieve: determination, dedication, devotion, and I just added the fourth D, discipline. If you already know, and if you don't know, find that thing or whatever you want to be, just go at it. And if you lost your job, maybe that's good for you because it can help you to rethink about your future and just research what you want to do. A lot of people lose their job and they don't know what to do. Again, my theory is put God first. He'll tell you what to do. And if not, then, just keep reaching. Just keep asking yourself, what do I want to do? Soon enough, you will find it. But you got to stay focused. Stay focused, believe, be determined, disciplined, dedicated, devoted. You will make it through.
Thank you so much. That was fantastic. That's another thing, too. Faith is a very personal discussion, and I'm not going to go there except to say the one thing that I have noticed about the majority of entrepreneurs that I have met and gotten to know and become friends with is all of us believe that there is something greater than ourselves, whatever you choose to call it.
That's right.
But I believe that, we all have this same belief that, there is something greater than ourselves that has called us to do this particular type of service. I'm not saying that people who have, regular employment and jobs don't serve others, but I think as entrepreneurs, I'm going to go ahead and claim it for us, we serve at a much higher level.
Yep.
Yes.
We serve at a deeper level. We serve at a more personal level. We serve at a more sincere level. We serve at a level with integrity
Mhm.
because we honestly want others to have exactly what it is we're trying to get for ourselves. So thank you, Mitzi. Thank you so much for that.
You're
Felicia,
welcome.
I'm coming over to you. You still have a full-time job, and there's might be people who are like you that, have a full-time employment. They have a corporate sponsor, as I like to say, but they'd also like to try to find balance. What advice would you give somebody who is an aspiring entrepreneur?
Well, I say while you're working for your investor, that's what that's a Lisa Nichols term, your investor. While I'm working for my investor, because they help you invest in your dream. Um, you know, it's he's
Oh,
an
we lost
investor.
LaShawn. LaShawn's all gone.
That's your investor. So, while I'm working for my investor, it's for me, and I say is being very clear, and it's very beneficial. I'm saying it's very beneficial to still work and be able to work on your dream. That's a benefit because you have your investor helping you fund your dream. That's what's happening. Um, and going back to, because everyone, of course, has their own beliefs, but going back to when I did lose my job, and when I was even in a position where I may not have a position, I always have thought throughout life, I never fail at anything. I said I've never failed. Everything's been a learning experience. Everything in life is it's not a failure, it's a learning experience. So for me, losing something means I'm going to gain something better or get something better. Whatever's come, I'm lost this for a reason because something better is coming.
Nice.
So as you're thinking about your while you're working for your investor and funding your dream, you have to realize this is for the betterment, because it can be a distraction, especially when you're very comfortable and you love what you do. You're like, well, no, this is kind of cushy, this is secure, this is safe, but yet I'm still feeling, like I said, because I'm a nonconformist, I'm still feeling like I have to break out of this box and working in just stay focused and look at the bigger picture, because once you gain clarity, the bigger picture is everything will fall into place. And eventually, and I tell folks, I don't know if any of my colleagues are watching, they might be, but I keep saying by the end of this year, I'm done. I'm done. That's
Okay.
it. I've already set a deadline. This is what it's going to be, because I have bigger things on the horizon, and there are more kids I need to reach in that little square that I'm in. So, as you continue to work through it, continue to work on your dream. That's my advice.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. LaShawn,
Yes. I'm right
you
here.
are such an inspiration in all that you do. And there are people watching and saying, I want to be like her. So if that's what they are thinking and saying, what would your advice be for them?
Wow. I always tell my children to be better than me. I always tell those I motivate to do more than I do. And it's a testament of hard work. Uh, if you want to be successful in life, again, you definitely have to give God the glory. And I totally agree with you with that, Mitzi. But on top of that, after the honor and after the praise is given, you have to acknowledge that what you're doing is for a purpose and not for a show. And everything that I
Nice.
do, from TV to behind the scenes community outreach, I do it because my heart says this is what you're supposed to do, and just do it the best that you can. So my suggestion, my advice would be, find what it is that you like to do, and you do not fall asleep until it's done. Find what it is that you like to do, and you don't stop until that purpose is fulfilled. And then you get you some accountability partners that's going to stay on you and say, wait a minute, didn't you say you was going to do X, Y, and Z? It's 4 months now. Where's X, Y, and Z at? When you have people that you're surrounded by, that you can learn with, people that you learn from, and people that learn from you, not only does that prevent you from being the biggest fish in the water, but it also provides you a whole ambiance of creativity and people who may see or hear things that you may miss, and that'll help you be better. So any greatness that I have is not anything I did myself, but it's something that the man upstairs felt fit for me to have. And then not only that, he sent me some friends that said, you know what, you can and will do this. So that's my advice.
Thank you so much. And you know, I had to laugh when you're sitting there going, you know, don't go to sleep because we don't. One of our favorite things to say in the hashtag 3 a.m. gang is they sleep, we
We
grind.
grind. And just really quick, we do promote self-awareness, self-help, making sure that you take good care of yourself, your vitamins, you eat well, exercise. But
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, the same, what we're trying to say is the same endurance, the same drive and energy you would put for your investor, as Felicia would call it, you got to put the same for yourself. Because if nothing changes and you don't put the work in, it's not going to change and it's not going to work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, for the people who are watching that know me, this is not going to come as a surprise. For anybody who doesn't know me, I'm telling you, I am about as authentic and transparent as it comes. So here comes the truth. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody.
Nope.
Entrepreneurship is not easy. You know, we're talking about the fact that you have to put the same level of energy in. LaShawn, I hate to disagree with you, girlfriend, but you're wrong. You have to put in twice as much. You have to put in three
That's
times as
true.
much. You have to put in 4 times as much
Right.
because you don't have somebody else to pick up the slack. As an entrepreneur, it's on you. If it's going to get done, you're the one who's going to have to do it. There's, you know, not that you don't have colleagues, not that you can't get support, not that you can't have, you know, a virtual assistant, which I hope to have someday, and a housemaid, which I also hope to have someday. You know, not that you can't have that, but at the end of the day, it's your business and you have to handle it. So, you know, entrepreneurship is not easy, but there are no words. I'm a writer. I am a best-selling novelist. I'm an award-winning writer, but there are no words to explain how incredibly rewarding and fulfilling entrepreneurship can be when you are acting in your purpose and from your passion. These are trying times for a lot of people. There are a lot of people who are still out of work because they've lost their jobs or they walked away from their jobs or what, you know, life happened to you. But one thing that I want to tell you is that trying times are times to try harder. Trying times are times to try harder. Yeah, we've dabbled in this and we've dabbled in that. We've tried everything, like LaShawn said, from A to Z. But eventually, if you do that, you're going to find what it is that makes you happy, that makes you smile, that makes you literally roll out of bed, can't wait to get dressed and get out the door to see who you're going to meet. But the one thing that I really want to say, in case you haven't gotten this message from what everybody's been saying tonight, don't start a business. Don't start a venture. Don't start a company. Don't create a product. Don't get into entrepreneurship to make money. Start it to make a difference. Who are you in the world? How are you showing up? What do you have to offer to other people? If something does happen to you, welcome to someday. If something does happen to you tomorrow, what are you leaving behind? Like Felicia was talking about that legacy, like we've all been saying, we want to reach back. We want to pay it forward. You know, Dejesh is starting with the teens and working his way up. We all have the same thing in mind. We want to serve from a place of integrity, from a place of caring, from a place of truth and authenticity. So if entrepreneurship is on your heart, I truly hope that you will come and visit www.cyjlyj.com and buy the book. Congratulations, you just lost your job. And if you don't buy it for yourself, give both of those copies to somebody else. You know, hey, you might have an unhappy coworker sitting 2 cubicles down from you. Why don't you do a solid for them and buy them a copy of Congratulations, You Just Lost Your Job? Because you don't know what kind of impact you might have on somebody else's life. So I'm going to wrap this up.
Absolutely.
Dejesh, I'm coming to you. Dejesh is hashtag achievement is limitless. What are your final words for the evening? Or morning in your case.
Yeah, I think, well, like you said, we put in the time, so, you know, so I think finally what I'm just going to say is, you know, just to everyone out there, just keep on trying, keep on pushing for whatever you believe in. And Mia said, entrepreneurship is not for everyone. Um, some people, decide to be an entrepreneur, but you've got to understand that you've got to put in that time and you've got to put in effort and you've got to use 24 hours to the best of your ability and use every single second to your advantage. So everyone out there, just keep on believing and build yourself as a business, and you'll just see everything just starts taking off from there.
Dijesh, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for staying up with us. I have officially enrolled you in the hashtag 3 a.m. gang because I know it's
Yes.
past 3 a.m. over there for you. So I applaud you. Like, truly, I want you to hear my heart. I applaud you for everything that you're doing. And I know that
Yes.
we just met and we've just become friends, but I want you to know I'm proud of you. So
Thank you
thank
so
you
much.
so
Thank you
much.
so
Thank
much.
you so much. Mitzi, hashtag put God first. What are your closing words for this reverse pink slip hangout?
My closing words are be determined. If you want this, go out and get it. It is hard work, but you can do it. Put God first. Well, whoever your most high is, and you'll make it. But you got to believe in yourself, and you'll get there.
Mitzi, thank you so much. It has been a pleasure to have you with us tonight. Thank you for
Yes.
joining us. And I look forward to doing this again with you really soon. Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
My girl Felicia, hashtag be a conscious rebel. What are your closing words, my darling?
My closing words are please be a conscious rebel. I want everybody to beware the status quo. Do your own thing, but do it with integrity. And people always ask, my moniker on Facebook is Step Up Your Life. I heard it years ago. It was funny. A comedian said it, and I just adopted it. So with the Step Up Your Life piece is, if everyone else is going to Burger King,
Mm.
go to Five Guys. I mean, do something different. You know what I'm saying? Do something different. If everyone else is
Now I'm
doing this,
hungry.
do that. So step up your life. Stop living at a level that everyone else is living on. Step it up. Do something different. And if that means stepping out on faith, I posted earlier on Facebook, faith over fear. Step out on faith and do something grander than what you're doing now. Step up your life. Just step up your life, and while you're doing it, beware the status quo. That's it.
Thank you so much. You are always such a pleasure to be around. You always put a smile on my face, and I am so glad that we are fellow authors in this journey. Thank you so
Yes.
much for being with
Thank
us tonight. I
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
appreciate it. LaShawn, girlfriend, shut it down as only you can.
Thank you. Again, everybody that's out there watching us on this Google Hangout, we thank you so much because you could have been a million other places, but you decided to be here with us, and we just salute you and thank you so much. Again, to my wonderful co-authors, the ones that are on the Hangout and the ones that aren't on right now, because I know Arlene had a little bit of problems. If you could just understand the gratitude I have for being so dedicated and amazing. Words can't describe it. So thank you again. What I want to say to you is this. Don't let anyone talk you out of anything, and don't let failure be the capstone to your future. Use whatever it is that you may have experienced that may not have been favorable and turn it into something greater. Turn it into a stepping stone for a lesson, so now you could be a testimony for someone else and show other people what not to do. And the purpose of this book is the desires of my heart, and I'm pretty sure I'm speaking for all of us. The purpose of this book is to let you know that you can become an entrepreneur, to let you know that it's hard work, but guess what? You're not going to get more than you can endure and can handle. So you will and can do this. And then most of all, just think of the benefits you're going to get by getting rid of that job, just over broke.
That's
One,
right.
the mental benefits. You don't have to worry about being so stressed out for somebody else. You can hold yourself accountable, but when other people hold you accountable and it's a hostile work environment, that's not fun. You have health benefits. No more do you have to ask somebody, may I go to the doctor? May I go to the dentist? I have to go to my son's physical, whatever it is. You don't have to do that. You just reschedule around your time. It's also an emotional benefit because now you are, like what Ruben West calls it, you're living your best life. You're making decisions that not only empower you, but empower the community around you. So I implore you to read this book. And if you're miserable at your job, if you were like me at one of my old jobs that I actually ran from, and you find excuses why you can't come in, you're like, you know what, it's a corn dog festival and it's the 32nd of May. I can't make it today. That's when it's time to exit stage left. It's time to go. It's definitely time to go. So if you're in that situation, you need to read this book. If you're walking on eggshells at work, it's time for you to read this book. It'll be out this summer. Read the book and join these fearless entrepreneurs and myself and do what it is that you have to do. Fire your boss.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here at the Corn Dog Fest on the 32nd of May.
On May 32nd.
Love it. I love it.
Okay, so May 32nd, 2014 is now officially someday.
Yes.
We would love it if you would join these crazy people along with me in saying congratulations, you just lost your job. Thank you so much for joining us on this Reverse Pink Slip Hangout. Please visit the website www.cyjlyj.com. We wish you luck. We wish you success. And more than anything else, we wish you joy. Thank you so much and good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.